The writers' strike has been going on for a few months now, and now the WGA is making desperate moves to try to drum up some PR victory or some public support for their cause. So right now we got this tweet pulled up that has an image of a flyer that was handed out at Universal Studios Hollywood. So you want to know what's really scary? Universal and other major studios have kept us from working for 125 days, unwilling to make a deal that fairly compensates writers. The rides and attractions you'll enjoy tonight are based on movies and television series that were created by writers. The fact of the matter is Universal would have no theme park without us or any content at all, yet the company refuses to pay us justly and our significant contributions to the abundant success they've had off our creations. If Universal were to pay us, we're asking for, it would cost them just 0.27% of their revenues. Okay, so... And it's just kind of more of that, just self-aggrandizing. Okay, first of all, it's not the studios who are forcing you out of work. It's your unions not letting you work. I mean, they could end this at any time. I mean, so you're basically saying like the studios are keeping us from working because they're not bowing to our demands. And I'm not saying that the studios are in the right or the wrong here. I'm just saying let's call it what it is. I mean, both sides don't negotiate or aren't coming to terms with the deal. So it's just as much as the Writers Guild fault as it is the studio's fault. And as far as these attractions are based off of their creations, I'm willing to bet most, if not all, the writers on strike weren't involved with a lot of the creations for these attractions. I mean, it seems like they're just trying to ride the coattails of people better than them and try to say like, oh, great writers did this, so we're writers, so we're like them. No, you're not like them. Otherwise, you would probably be able to get the money that you want. I mean, if you're like a minimum wage union writer for the guild, then yeah, you're probably not a very good writer. I mean, that's why you're doing what you're doing, because great writers don't need to worry about minimums. They're already making pretty good deals and have their own agents negotiate their contracts individually. And this whole thing is just a nonsense argument about like, oh, it's only cost you so much of your revenue. It's like, yeah, but are you worth that extra increase? That's the whole point. I mean, the studios obviously don't think so. Now, again, every time I point this stuff out, people will say like, oh, you just like the studios. No. And if you actually watch this channel for any length of time, I'm not a fan of these studios, but at the same time, I don't care about these writers either, because personally, I think it's like the studios have been greenlighting a lot of garbage. And I think a lot of these writers are responsible for producing or for creating this garbage. So I'm just like, yeah, let them fight. I don't care what's happening between them. But I mean, the fact that they're doing these measures to try to gain public sympathy is just kind of desperate, especially after these numbers came out that was released by the studios. And I think the studios did this tactically to try to get a PR victory, because it's saying they're increasing their wages or their minimums from like just under $10,000 a week to just over $11,000 a week. And I know there's some nuances to this or whatever, but just looking at the numbers right there, it's like, yeah, people are, at least the general public is looking at this and saying like, well, I mean, that seems like a pretty good wage. So why are you complaining about that? And it really does hurt the whole Writers Guild idea that like, oh, we're fighting for the little guy. And it's like, the little guy doesn't make $11K a week. I mean, maybe that's like a couple months wages for most people or whatever. And you're trying to see like, oh, well, we're just the poor lowly writers. It's like, really? I mean, that's what you're trying to say right now. And I got this opinion piece pulled up from the Wall Street Journal talking about this, and it basically is the whole thing. It's like the public just doesn't care about this, and I'm not sure why they need public support. I mean, I guess they think it'll help in the negotiations later on, but listen to this right here down here in this paragraph. Yes, you are the fighting for the little guy, for the background player whose image and likeness gets computerized and copied. So yeah, but the Writers Guild and SAG-AFTRA are trade unions. Their primary function is to force studios to hire their members and only their members. I suppose some lucky thespian who books a part with a few lines is the little guy compared with Disney and Warner Brothers, but the actor slinging drinks, waiting tables, and wondering how he'll ever get a union card is even littler guy. Full disclosure, that was once me. That's not me personally. That's the writer of this article. The striking unions say they seek fairness, but an unavoidable show business reality is that the number of jobs is limited and the supply of talent is limitless. Yep, that's really what it is. And these unions are, or in a way, they're trying to keep the people, the even littler guy, the people who are just coming into Hollywood, just starting out right and don't have that union card. These unions are trying to prevent them from getting work, or at least inadvertently, that's what they do. They try to keep them from getting work. And even these strikes are preventing those people. So, I mean, when you say they're fighting for the little guy, no, they're fighting for the people within their unions, not the actual like littlest of guy. I mean, they don't give a crap about any of them. I mean, and that's pretty obvious for the most people who are actually looking at this. And that's why I think a lot of people are like me, where it's like, we just don't care what's going on. I mean, there's a huge back catalog of stuff. I mean, you turn on like any of these streaming sites. I mean, you go to Disney Plus or Max or Peacock or what have you. There's just a huge catalog of stuff. And it's like, if there's nothing, I mean, actually there is new stuff on there. I mean, it's not like new produced or whatever, but I mean, it's like they update it with like other content every week or every month or something like that. So it's almost like, yeah, we don't have an end of stuff that we can watch. I mean, you can not produce stuff for a while and we're not going to, and we won't mind. And the studios are probably thinking the same thing too. And that's why they're not in a huge hurry to actually negotiate and try to cave on some of their demands. They're just feeling like, yeah, we'll just save some money right now, put out some of our back catalog and we'll be fine. And the writers are obviously struggling right now if they're making these desperate moves to try to gain PR victories with the public. And I don't think it's going to happen. And eventually they're going to have to negotiate because the the union heads aren't going to want to come back to their people and say like, we got nothing out of this. So they're going to try to make some deal with the studios and then they're going to claim victory because they don't want their union members to think like, well, we pay dues and you didn't give, basically we pay dues to the unions and we don't want them to not deliver. So the union heads are going to say we won. The studios are going to just play humble and be like, yep, we were able to negotiate with them. All the while, the members are going to be the ones who suffered. I mean, they were out of work for all this time and they're not going to get everything that they wanted to. But I mean, I guess those are the breaks. And if you want to get more, then I don't know, be better writers or something like that. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. And if you like this video, make sure you click the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with the latest news. Thank you.